Well, I think we all knew it was coming, but the winter off-season of signings has officially started for Toronto FC, as today they have signed not one, but two experienced veteran players in Major League Soccer, as it becomes increasingly clear that TFC is trying to quickly turn around into becoming a MLS Cup contender in one winter. After a disappointing 2022 in which even the arrival of the Italians Insigne and Bernardeschi, as well as Domenico Crescito, could not save Toronto FC as they finished second last in the Eastern Conference. Now, Bernardeschi and Insigne both came and played as advertised, but following their arrivals, it became abundantly clear that this team had a lot of problems that just those two were not going to solve, namely at the back end. And so Toronto FC went into this offseason knowing that the defense had to be addressed, and that was the first thing they did, bringing in center back Matt Hedges. Hedges is a 32-year-old center back who has been in MLS with FC Dallas pretty much his whole career since 2012 when he was drafted in the MLS Super Draft 11th overall by FC Dallas. He has been a stalwart in the Dallas back line for 10 years since then, was a MLS Best 11 defender in both 2015 and 2016, and in 2016 he was the MLS Defender of the Year. So experienced, quality center back that TFC has picked up right here. There have already been a bunch of comparisons to the Drew Moore signing in 2016. Moore was also in his early 30s when he came to Toronto FC, an experienced center back in Major League Soccer. Hedges, a lot like that, comes to TFC as a free agent, and he's a guy who right now TFC needed a quality MLS defender, and they didn't go poking around other leagues. They didn't go asking questions of guys who haven't played in MLS. They went and they got an experienced MLS defender. They needed a starting center back. They have a quality starting center back right there. At 32, this obviously is a move for right now. Hedges is not going to be a starting center back in MLS for years to come. He's right now probably in his last 2, 3, maybe 4 years of being a effective starting center back in Major League Soccer, so this is 100% a win now mentality. This can't be the only move TFC is making on the back end. The center backs were so questionable last season, while Matt Hedges is a big shore up. Basically, we need two of him because now you have one starting center back for MLS. You now need another starting center back for MLS because O'Neal and McNaughton, I think, are great number 3/4 center backs, but I'd rather have two experienced guys starting. And I know some people are saying, oh, bring Mavinga back. Mavinga hasn't been great in like a couple years, and honestly, like with the way he's played the past couple years and with the amount of injuries he's had, I don't see relying on Chris Mavinga as a regular starter going well whatsoever, so we need another starting center back in addition to Hedges, but this is a great start. The other free agent signing TFC has gotten is a familiar name for TFC, Victor Vazquez. Victor Vazquez, the guy who was probably the key signing prior to the 2017 TFC MLS Cup run. He was, when we got him back in 2017, a TAM signing who ended up being a designated player, quality player. It was basically almost Alejandro Pozuelo, but on a TAM deal. Victor Vazquez was absolutely incredible for TFC in 2017. He was pretty solid in 2018, and then he left, obviously, to go to the Qatari Stars League, spent 2 years in Qatar, came back, has spent the last 2 years in MLS with the LA Galaxy, conveniently coached by Greg Vanney. Vanney wanted him back to MLS, and Vazquez is a guy who, he's 35, he very obviously isn't a full 90 minutes player anymore. He wasn't even really that when he originally played for TFC. He's always been not the fastest guy, but his passing and his ball distribution has always been there, and it still is incredible. I mean, he was great in the game LA played against TFC back in 2022, and like I feel like I'm worried that we saw him play in that game against TFC in Los Angeles back in the summer, and we were like, wow, Victor Vazquez is still a great player, and that was like his best game of the season. But as a late substitute, especially when you're down a goal, I feel like Victor Vazquez could still be a serviceable player in MLS. Again, another signing, especially at the age of 35, and it being Victor Vazquez, is another like win right now this season signing. Like, sure, this season he'll be useful maybe as a late substitute, maybe start a couple games, like you get subbed off early when you're short guys, but as a long-term player, the long-term stability of Victor Vazquez's role in Major League Soccer is questionable. So definitely a win now play, because I could see Victor Vazquez maybe playing 2 more seasons before he retires. The interesting thing about the Vazquez signing, though, is it doesn't really fit our system. He's more of a cam, like he has to be an attacking midfielder. We're playing a 4-3-3. And like the 3 midfielders need to run a lot. So he's definitely like we're switching up and pushing for a more attacking formation sort of sub. It also completely destroys the signing Giovinco is bad argument, because like Vazquez and Giovinco, especially right now, are similar players. I mean, Giovinco's a little more attacking, a little more shooting flair and all that. But they're both old guys in the last year or so of their career looking for one last hurrah, who don't really fit the current system but are useful attacking pieces, especially as late subs. So to bring back Victor Vazquez, why wouldn't you just bring back Giovinco? It probably would have cost about the same too. Like Giovinco said he'd come for like 150 or whatever. So why Vazquez and not Giovinco? I don't know. Bringing both of them back seems weird, because they both are, again, 2 late attacking subs who don't fit the system that we play. So it's an interesting one. So on its own, it's not interesting to bring back Victor Vazquez, but to bring back Victor Vazquez instead of Giovinco is kind of an interesting choice. So we're now at a point where the midfield consists of Jonathan Osorio, Mark Anthony Kaye, Michael Bradley, and Victor Vazquez. Throw in Kosi Thompson and Jaden Nelson as potential substitution plays in there. Midfield's trying to look good. I mean, the Osorio re-signing, I think, is way bigger than the Vazquez signing in that department. And the back end, it's not the end, but it's definitely a start. Matt Hedges is a terrific addition back there. So all in all, TFC still has a lot of work to do this offseason, but as far as starts go, this is about as good as we could have hoped for. So that is it for this video. As always, if you'd like to hit like, if you want to see more of my stuff, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, link is down below in the description, and I will see you next time.